The PRC or the Professional Regulation Commission. Long time ago, the PRC was previously called the Office of the Board of Examiners during President Marcos' time. As the time passed by, many laws were passed and adopted. Until year 2006, it was attached to the Department of Labor and Employment for administrative supervision and control. To carry out its mandate, the PRC has 10 regional offices and 3 satellite offices. Some of the changes in PRC happened in its system. Before, there are a lot of processes to go through. Until year 2012, changes took place.
Mas mapapabilis na raw ang inyong pag-a-apply. Sinisimula na kasi ang bagong sistema kung saan pwede na kayong mag-apply online o sa pamamagitan ng internet.
The process today are now online even in terms of payment. This makes easier and more convenient for the applicants. PRC performs 2 important functions. The following are: first, to administer and conduct the licensure examinations to aspiring professionals. I repeat, aspiring professionals. Its second function is to regulate and supervise the practice of the profession exercised in partnership with the 43 PRBs or the 43 Professional Regulatory Boards. So here are some of the 43 PRBs that we may know. Architecture, Civil Engineering, Criminology, and most of all, accountancy. Now let's discuss the specific functions of PRC. They review, revise, and approve resolutions embodying policies promulgated by the professional regulatory boards. They also approve registration and authorize the issuance of a certificate of registration or license and PRC IDs. The PRC serves more than 3.9 million professionals from 43 various regulated professions and hundreds of thousands of aspiring professionals who take the licensure examinations every year. To summarize it all, the PRC aims to ensure the competence of the professionals. Now, let's discuss the PRBOA or the Professional Regulatory Board of Accountancy. It is otherwise called as BOA, wherein, as mentioned earlier, it is one of the 43 PRBs. The Republic Act No. 9298, or otherwise known as the Philippine Accountancy Act of 2004, provides the functions and authority of BOA. It must provide and govern the following. First, the standardization and regulation of accounting education. Second, the examination for registration of certified public accountants. And lastly, the supervision, control, and regulation of the practice of accountancy in the Philippines. Here are some of the specific functions, powers, and responsibilities of the board. To administer oaths in connection with the administration of this act. To investigate violations of this act and the rules and regulations. To punish for contempt of the board, both direct and indirect. To prescribe and adopt a code of ethics for the practice of accountancy. To monitor the conditions affecting the practice of accountancy and adopt such measures. to conduct an oversight into the quality of audits of financial statements to ensure compliance with the accounting and auditing standards and practices. All applicants for registration shall undergo a licensure examination. Here are the qualifications of applicants. He must be a Filipino citizen. He must be of good moral character. He must be a holder of the degree of Bachelor of Science in Accountancy. He must not be convicted of any criminal offense involving moral turpitude. Here are some of the amendments that took place. On December 28, 2015, there had been revisions on the syllabus. Some of it are the new 6 topics that were included in the Law on Business Transaction. April 25, 2016, there had been changes from 7 to 6 subjects on the board exam, wherein the Code of Ethics and Accountancy Law were included in the auditing subject. January 7, 2016, there had been a gradual increase on the CPD requirements from 60 to 120 units, and the shift from thematic to competency CPD framework.
The Securities and Exchange Commission is a government-created organization that regulates the buying and selling of stocks and bonds to protect investors against fraud. So what they basically do is they regulate the registration and operation of business organizations that run here in the Philippines. They require these businesses to prepare reporting requirements, and they establish rules and regulations for the business to prepare audited financial statements. The Securities and Exchange Commission, their mission is to sustain a growing economy that produces jobs and improves the living standards and protects investors. The Securities and Exchange Commission is responsible to be sure that the average investor has the same information as the people who manage and run public companies. The Securities and Exchange Commission is like a police force for laws regarding stocks and bonds. As I mentioned earlier, all companies are required to file reports including financial and other information each year. Then the Securities and Exchange Commission will review the information of these companies if they are abiding by the laws, which should be publicly available. This is for the interested parties to make financial decisions in particular companies. But this information, the SEC makes sure that it will not be taken advantage of. As a CPA, you can practice your profession in almost all types of industry. You can practice as a bookkeeper, auditor, as an accountant, and many more. With this, the SEC requires CPAs to submit specific requirements for them to be accredited and recognized. They should renew their accreditation with Securities and Exchange Commission on a regular basis. They also pay additional fees with the renewal of their accreditation. The Insurance Commission is a government agency which supervises and regulates the operations of life and non-life insurance companies, including mutual benefits association and trust of charitable uses. This is a short video or clip of how the Insurance Commission operates.
Let's put in perspective now the Insurance Commission.
Yeah.
When was this set up and what is its main purpose?
The Insurance Commission is now 66 years old. It was set up in, I think, January 4, 1949. So we had our 66th anniversary celebration early this year. No, before it was part of the Central Bank. No, there was a division on insurance. No, but they saw it prudent to set up a separate regulator for the insurance industry. No, so basically the purpose is to ensure that companies or insurers are solvent, no, adequately capitalized, and adopt good corporate governance practices. Meaning they should be solvent, they should have a corporate governance policy, and I think more importantly, the Insurance Commission should protect the interests of the insuring
Very
public.
good. That makes sense.
Welcome to ASEAN Mutual Recognition Arrangement, which aims to connect institutions, infrastructures, and everyone like never before. This brings opportunities for everyone working and living across Asia. For a CPA to be an ASEAN Chartered Professional Accountant, must, in other community, first be accredited by the host country and must apply the requirements of this arrangement, including certifications provided by the PR authorities, have continuing professional development, experience of not less than 3 years, and of course must abide with domestic and foreign rules and regulations. These arrangements require CPAs to complete every necessary requirement for the CPA to work freely within the ASEAN countries.
For example, if an engineer wants to come to work in Malaysia, immigration will require him to prove, despite the fact that he's already qualified, to prove that he's doing a job of work or a project for which there's no qualified Malaysian.
In Singapore, for employees, they must have to advertise for at least 14 days before he or she can apply for a skilled foreign worker.
The Trade and Industry Ministry says while Singapore welcomes skilled manpower, it cannot afford to have an unregulated flow of foreign labor. This is due to the country's small physical size and limited resources.
Observers believe that it may political civil lawful first, second, ASEAN. That is what the ASEAN agreements are all moving towards, and that is also what the different mutual recognition arrangements are all moving towards. It's really so that you do have a wider pool of skills and talent to choose from after looking at what is available in your own national talent pool first.
ASEAN is expected to continue developing international talents, fueling the demand for labor. And the region is projected to be the fourth largest growing economy by 2050 and expected to accelerate 14 million more jobs by 2025. Moreover, the approval of this arrangement may lead to the use of talents in other countries, which leads to a higher demand of the profession in the domestic country. The MRA, or the Mutual Recognition Arrangement, was approved